Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch, well, the weather. Not that some of you even care, but guess what? Even if you don't care, you still get a dose of local weather around here. All gloomy, misty. It's supposed to rain today, and then into tomorrow, and then I think in a couple of days we might get some snow out of it. In fact, they're talking about like from the 13th through the 15th of this month could be a chance of some heavy snow showers. We'll see. But yeah, cooled off. We missed the warm weather we were having there. Everyone around here is talking about it. Like, my goodness, we had like 2 amazing days in the 70s and clear, and now we're back to kind of that late winter time stuff. Anyways, there's some crazy stuff going on. There's more and more people starting to come out, and I'm not talking about far left. I mean, they've definitely come out and said this, but I'm talking about conservatives, people that were staunch Trump supporters. Maybe they still are okay with some things, but they're starting to see that this isn't quite what we bargained for. Saying that, you know, some of this stuff that he's talking about, no matter how great it is or how great it sounds, some of it's unconstitutional. There are just certain things that a president cannot dismantle on his own. Whether you like it or not, it's true. You know, I remember many years back when there was the big movement in the conservatives to break away from the United Nations. I'm not opposed to that, but they were wanting a president that would say that he would, you know, pull the United States out of the United Nations. And the thing is the United States is in the United Nations by treaty, and depending on which constitutional scholar you read, they'll tell you that a treaty can only be done by the Senate, and the only way we can get out of a treaty is by the Senate. So there are certain things that he cannot just on his own completely dismantle, and if he does or attempts to, then the downside is, and I get the argument, well, there's this guy that's trying to do what's good and he's fighting against a system. Yes, I get that. But if he does it completely on his own, then it's getting into the dictator level of stuff. And he has said that he would love to be one, that he thinks it's great. And as long as, you know, a dictator can kind of be good for a moment, but you're dealing with a human, and humans are not perfect, and humans have weaknesses. And in the end, that's why our founding fathers set up the system that they did of checks and balances, so that no matter how good or how bad someone is, hopefully the checks and balances kind of even things out. And so anyway, some people are starting to realize that, you know, some of these things that he's talking about doing or is attempting to do are not within the purview of the president's authority. Moving on, the post office said that they are cutting off any type of shipments coming in, packages coming in from China. That this means things that's going directly to your mailbox. And they're saying it's only going to be temporary. So I think they're trying to figure out how to impose tariffs on small packages coming in from China and, you know, Hong Kong, places like that. And, you know, so when you order something online, and the origin may be China. And so if you've done that, if it's en route, it's possible you're not going to get it. And if you do it in the future, you're probably going to have to pay more. Now, I know a lot of people are saying, well, so what? You know, I'm not buying that Temu junk anyways. There's many other places that your stuff, you know, that you would buy things from that would come from China than just Temu. A lot of stuff you buy on Amazon anymore. A lot of stuff you buy on Amazon, and it doesn't always tell you that it's coming from China. But it is coming from China. So there's a lot of stuff out there. It's more than just the silly little junky stuff that you get. I mean, there's other things. Like I said, a lot of car parts and stuff come from China. So anyway, so that's happening. I think the biggest thing in the news that I want to talk about is this new deal with Gaza. Apparently yesterday, out of nowhere, I mean, I don't know if it's out of nowhere, but for you and I, it's out of nowhere. Donald Trump said that the United States is going to take over the Gaza Strip, that we're going to move in, take it over, it's going to be our property, we're going to clear everything out, clear all the people out, clear all the debris and the rubble and all the cities and everything out of there, and we're going to rebuild it. We're going to put in some kind of resort. I mean, he didn't say resort, but the way he made it sound like it did. And a lot of people, both on the left and the right, are confused and upset and not sure what in the world's going on. And I got to tell you, I am absolutely not in favor of this at all. That whole region has been a mess for 1,000 years or better, and that little strip of land has been a problem since going back to David's time. I mentioned, I think yesterday, the Gaza Strip. That's Palestine. That's the Philistines. That's the area of the Philistines. You go back, remember David and Goliath, the big Philistine? That's the Philistines. And it's always been a problem. And just because America comes in and builds a Trump Tower resort on, Mar-a-Lago 2.0 on it, does not mean that the problems are going to go away. It's not. And it's putting us right in the middle of it. Now, you could say, well, we've been in the middle of this for a long time. We've been supplying arms to Israel. We've got troops and military bases everywhere. Yes. But there is, I think, at the very, very least, a psychological difference between that stuff and us actually having declared land that is now sovereign United States land, or whatever we're going to call it, right in the heart of the middle of the problem. Not just in the middle of the problem, like the strip of land that has been so hotly contested for decades. We're just going to walk in and say, we got a fix for it. Now it's ours. We're going to put Disneyland here, and you're all just going to accept it. This is dumb. You can disagree with me all you want. This is dumb. If this continues to happen, if this isn't just him, Donald Trump just talking, if this is for real, the odds of Islamic terrorism increasing here in the United States, I think is going to dramatically increase. Already, it's on the rise. At least the chances of it. This happens, and then what are you going to do with all those people? No one wants them. Egypt says nope. Jordan says nope. Everybody says no. What are you going to do with them? I guess you're not going to put them in Guantanamo Bay, because apparently now we're putting Mexicans and illegals in Guantanamo Bay, which I don't agree with that either, because now you're putting them within the United States incarceration system, which is still a financial drain on the system. Now we're going to have them have attorneys, defense attorneys, to go through the whole court process and to figure out whether they can stay here or not, or if they've committed crimes, and it's going to just drag on for years and years. That wasn't what we bargained for either. We thought they were just going to get kicked out, right? That's what you told us. You said you're just going to round them up and go drop them off where they came from. Now we're putting them in our prison systems. I understand Guantanamo's slightly different than the normal prison systems, but yeah, it's still, and what it's doing is it's apparently indicating that they have a chance to win the case, maybe, win the court case, get to come back. I disagree with that. So does Mexico. Mexico says they do not like having their people being incarcerated in Guantanamo Bay. They don't want that happening. So there's just some things that it's getting wacky. And I've said for the last week or so that the intensity at which things are happening and changing. And you could make the argument, well, when things are moving this fast, there's going to be mistakes. I get that. But this is different. This is, moving in directions that was never even spoken of before until the inauguration. And I think that we're going into some dangerous territory with some things. And just the overall speed and intensity at which things are changing kind of indicates to me that things probably aren't going in the direction that we all hoped that they would go, or that many of you hoped that they would go. I kind of knew from the beginning this was going to be a bad deal. Tried warning people about it months ago and got lots and lots of hatred from people from it. But I'm telling you, it's not going in the direction that we want it to go. And I think we're in for a long, rough road. Not the same kind of rough road if we'd had Kamala Harris. Yeah, that's a rough road with lots of donkey dung in it. But nevertheless, still a rough road. And you need to be ready for that. You need to get yourselves prepared and stop thinking that everything's just going to be okay now. It's not even close. It's time to stock up, prep up, get your houses in order, and prepare mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.